Is it time for a familiar face to step back into the crease for the Toronto Maple Leafs? With a crucial injury shaking up our goalie tandem, there's a chance for a former champion to reclaim his spot in the NHL. As we dive into the latest developments, you'll want to stick around to see if this could be the comeback we've all been waiting for. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like to stay updated on all things Maple Leafs. As recent news from the Toronto Maple Leafs have gotten us all talking, haven't they? With Anthony Stolarz sidelined for the next 4 to 6 weeks due to that knee injury, the team is facing a real test of their goaltending depth. Craig Berub's announcement has put all eyes on Joseph Woll, who stepped up admirably and led the Leafs to a 3-2 victory against the Anaheim Ducks. But can we realistically expect him to carry the load all by himself until Stolarz returns? I have my doubts, and so should you. This opens the door for Matt Murray, who might just be ready to seize this opportunity. Remember, Murray was once a star in this league, winning 2 Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins. His recent history with injuries has been troubling, but at just 30 years old, he still has potential to contribute significantly. It's crucial for him to stay healthy, and based on reports, the Leafs want him to play a few more games in the AHL before making that call. It's been over 600 days since he last appeared in an NHL game. Can you imagine the pressure on him to perform? Meanwhile, let's not overlook Dennis Hildeby and Artur Akhtiamov. Hildeby is still finding his footing in the NHL, with some decent performances under his belt, and Akhtiamov has been lighting it up in the AHL, boasting impressive stats. With a save percentage of .911 and a goals against average of 2.36, he's leading the charge among AHL rookies. I mean, that's the kind of performance that gets you noticed. But is it too soon to expect them to step up in the big leagues? I think so. They both have bright futures ahead, but throwing them into the NHL fire right now might not be the best move for the team or their development. So, what does this mean for the Leafs moving forward? They're in a position where they need to find a balance between managing Woll's workload and ensuring that Murray is ready to jump back into action. If they play their cards right, they could end up with a solid goaltending rotation once Stolarz returns. But if they miscalculate and over-rely on Woll, it could lead to fatigue and poor performance down the line. Honestly, I'm torn on whether bringing Murray back is the right move. There's a lot at stake, and we need someone who can perform at a high level. The last thing we want is to see him struggle, which could potentially harm his confidence, even more so after such a long absence. I want to hear from you, though. Do you believe this is the best path forward for the Maple Leafs? I, for one, am feeling a mix of hope and concern. It's a risky gamble, but sometimes risks pay off handsomely. What are your thoughts? As the season progresses, every decision will weigh heavily on the minds of the coaching staff and management. The choices they make now could either set the tone for a playoff run or lead to yet another disappointing finish. So, what do you think? Are the Leafs making the right moves to secure their future? Let's get a discussion going in the comments below. Nick Robertson has found himself at a crucial crossroads this season with the Toronto Maple Leafs. After a promising start and a few flashes of brilliance, there's a growing sense of urgency surrounding his contributions to the team. We recently saw him in action against the Buffalo Sabres, and while he showcased some of his potential, it raised important questions about whether he can truly become a reliable contributor for the Leafs this year. Is this his last chance to make a significant impact? Entering this season, Robertson had a golden opportunity to solidify his place as a regular in the NHL. However, it's clear that he hasn't fully embraced this chance. Gord Stellick pointed out that while Robertson had moments of decent ice time, he hasn't shown the consistency the team desperately needs. It's almost as if he's been waiting for the perfect moment rather than seizing the opportunities presented to him. The line he played against Buffalo reflected what the Maple Leafs envisioned for him, a potential third-line role where he could make an impact every few games. But we need more than just occasional flashes. We need that consistent performance. One of the glaring issues for the Maple Leafs has been their struggle to find players who can deliver timely goals, especially in the playoffs. Stellick's comments about past players who have stepped up during critical moments resonate deeply. The Leafs have seen players like Michael Bunting rise to the occasion when given the chance, and the question now is whether Robertson can do the same. His quick release and scoring prowess shown in the AHL suggest he could be that player. But the clock is ticking, and his ability to translate that success to the NHL level remains unproven. The situation is complicated by the sheer depth of the Maple Leafs roster. Nick Caprias highlighted this dilemma perfectly. There are simply too many players vying for positions and not enough spots available. It's a classic case of having too many passengers and not enough seats on the plane. This means that Robertson needs to fight for every second of ice time and every chance to prove himself, all while competing against established veterans and emerging talents. The evaluation process is ongoing, and while there have been glimpses of brilliance from Robertson, he hasn't locked down a permanent spot on the roster yet. The Leafs are still actively searching for the right pieces to elevate the team during high-pressure moments, and the question remains, can Robertson step up and fill that crucial role? While it's not too late for Robertson, the window to prove his worth is narrowing. As discussed by Stellick, Caprius, and Bourne, his performance against Buffalo hints at what he can contribute if he can find that consistency. But with limited roster spots and the looming focus on playoff performance, time is of the essence. If Robertson can emerge as that player who scores the big goal that the Leafs have so desperately needed in recent playoff runs, he could very well save his season and secure his spot on the team. However, if he fails to take the next step, the Leafs may look elsewhere to fill that void. So, what do you think? Was this the right move for the Maple Leafs, or are they risking too much with Robertson? I'm honestly torn on this one. I want to believe in his potential, but the pressure is mounting, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. What are your expectations for him moving forward, and how do you feel about the team's depth and competition for spots? Let's get the conversation going in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates on our beloved Toronto Maple Leafs. You won't want to miss any of the action, so make sure to hit that notification bell to stay informed.